Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to my channel. Yes, it is zoomed in today because we are doing another makeup book review. As you probably guessed, I finally sat down to record the makeup book review for Sarah J. Maas's House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. Now, I will preface this always with, it's not really a review, it's just like some thoughts that I had because Oshale and I will actually be doing a special Black Prose book club video in honor of this book, and we will be going into full discussions strictly on this book, so keep a lookout for that. We will be announcing that very soon when she finishes the book. Yes, Oshale, talking to you. But yeah, so this is the look of the day. I will have the products used down below in the description box, but without further ado, let's just get on with the tutorial. Alright guys, so we are going to start this review. As always, I think I've already done the disclaimers, or at least I'll remember to do the disclaimers after I do my makeup. But I've already based my face, so I used my Boscia Tsubaki beauty oil that I'm still using because you only need like a couple of drops. I've had this oil for years and I've yet to do it. Also, the reason that we are filming this in my office is because my bedroom is not ready for filming. It's not ready for anything, so we're going to do it here. Let's see. I think I just realized that I left my other concealer in the room. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk and we're going to put that all over our lids. So let's talk about my first ever Sarah J. Maas book. So, as you all know, I've been debating on whether or not I should read Sarah J. Maas just because of how popular her books are. Not to say like, oh, they must be terrible because everybody likes them, but I do know that just, sometimes I prefer gorier series. So I didn't know if I was going to enjoy the series. So I decided I would start with Crescent City because, I don't know, I think this was supposed to be adult. And, okay, so we're going to try to put some structure into these videos. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the actual story. So, spoilers, if you have not read the book, this review will have spoilers. So you have like 5 more seconds to click off before I start talking about it. Okay, so the book basically starts with the prequel, essentially, where it's Bryce and Danica, who are best friends. And Danica is like this super amazing, like, wolf morph chick. Where, like, she morphs into a wolf and she's, like, super powerful and all that stuff. But she ends up getting killed by what? We don't know for, like, we don't know what happened to her until, like, page 700 something, which we will touch on in a second. So, it leaves her friend Bryce devastated and depressed. And then the movie fast forwards, the book fast forwards 2 years. So in the 2 years since her best friend has died, Bryce has just been known as this horrible, like, basically she feels horrible. She's super depressed. Oh, she's super depressed. And, basically it just seems like she's going through the motions of life because she's never recovered from the loss of her best friend. And honestly, I felt that because I just don't know if I would ever be able to get over the loss of my friend. However, it has been brought to her attention by Micah, who's like, I guess, the head angel in charge, that the same thing that killed Danica and her pack, it has come out to try to kill something else. So at that point, she's been told that she has to work with Hunt to solve the mystery of who this killer is and bring them to justice. And they have a short period to do this because there's kind of like a summit going on, and she doesn't want to have to deal with it. We're talking while I'm doing this first eye, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing on the second eye. That way I can talk better and not have to worry about it. So after she figures out, or after she has to deal with Hunt, this is where it gets interesting for me. So I immediately got the vibe that Hunt was attracted to her because, they mentioned her body so many times in the beginning of this book. So many times. It's like, good God, we get it. She's got a bomb body. Move on. And it also mentions Hunt's super abs and all that stuff. I knew that they were going to be the romantic part of this book. But to me, I felt like their relationship could have been friends, and I'll explain that later. But the progression of which they start to give into their feelings is hilariously written to me. There is a scene where they're at a gun range with her brother, who we'll also talk about in a second, with her brother, and they're talking about, oh, you know, Bryce can shoot or whatever, and like it's basically like them having like a secret love sex language like while she's shooting. It's super awkward to me. Super awkward. And it just made me laugh. It was one of those things where I was like, why are we doing this? This makes no sense. Why are we doing this? So I felt like the scenes where it was like trying to show them being sexual and stuff, I laughed. It was just so awkward. Like he can like sense when she's horny and stuff, and I'm like and it's always like her nipples would get really hard, and then like he would like tense up because he could feel her horniness, and I was like, oh, okay, that's how all right, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, okay, these are just two broken people who found each other, who probably shouldn't have found each other. In my personal opinion, I would have preferred if they just stayed friends, but obviously we know that that's not what happens. So my friend puts it best. Sarah J. Maas is a romance writer in disguise, because I felt like a lot of this was just focused on their love story. But the part of the book that I really enjoyed was the whodunit, like the mystery crime solving part of the book. I loved it. I felt like it took forever and a day to get to anything worth reading. Like I know I had to read at least 300 pages before they actually had a real lead, because the book is so overly detailed. I felt like a lot of the times in the book we didn't need to have as much detail as we got. It was just a lot. Like once I got the world described, I didn't need to know the cut of her lingerie when she walked around her house. Like I didn't need to know like her entire outfit. Like we got it. Girl got a bad body. I imagine Megan Thee Stallion whenever I think of Bryce. But I just felt like there were a lot of details that were just really overdone, and therefore drew the book out. The book did not need to be 800 pages. We could have got this book done in 400, but there was so much unnecessary description. Whereas it was more like a telling situation rather than showing me in the story. It was literally just telling me like, this is what they're doing, instead of like portraying it, if that makes sense. It was very weird for me. So we're going to do like this whole area, we're going to use the Warrior 2 palette, and we're going to use the red that is Jamata. And I'm using just a regular blending eye brush from e.l.f. And I'm just going to put that all up in this area and then blend it upward. Because this is the best red I've got right now, because I haven't replenished any makeup since this whole thing. Okay, so then I'm also going to bring the red a little bit into my lid. And then leave this brush out, because you will be blending a lot with this brush. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stay in the Warrior 2 palette, and I'm going to use Shawata, which is a really deep black. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Walzana, which is like a deep brown. And I'm going to concentrate that in the crease area of my eye. Now, this comes out super pigmented, so I highly recommend taking your time. It's very pigmented. And then what I did was I took the same brush and I dipped it back into the red of the Jamata. Get that red, and I used that to blend it out, to just soften the color. And then I'm staying in my crease line to to bring it out this way. Okay, and then the next thing that I am doing is I'm going to go into my palette that I've not really used much since I had plans for it, but Corona. I'm going to go into my Nomad palette, and I'm going to go for this orange, this right here. And we're going to put that all the way up into my eyebrow line. Again, I'm just using really cheap e.l.f. blending brushes today. I need to wash my brushes, so I'm going into like reserves. Come on, camera. My camera is doing this thing. I'm sorry, guys. I have to leave it on autofocus when I do these kind of videos, and sometimes it don't want to act right. Okay. So then I'm going to take that same brush, and I'm going to go into the same Nomad palette, and I'm going to go with this, and this is going to be my eyebrow highlight color, and we're going to blend that down. All right, and then we'll do the same thing. I was trying to figure out what was missing on this eye, and it was this. So now that we got that, obviously we're going to go back in with the orange, warm it back up a little bit on the ends, just to keep the blending a situation. And then you're going to go back in with that red and bring it all together with the red. So, back to what I was saying. I like the creation of Bryce. I felt like her being half fae was very understated, but at the same time, it was kind of like the reason why she felt how she felt. I liked that she didn't shy away from her sadness. I like that, honestly, she stayed away from drugs because of her sadness. It was very interesting to watch, like, the realization of how depressed she really was and how she's just, like, faking the funk to get by. Awesome. So let's talk about Hunt for a second. So Hunt is this fallen angel. He joined the rebellion, fell in love with the rebellion leader. Rebellion leader got killed. He's like holding on to her for dear, like holding on to her love and all this other stuff. However, he has a deal with Micah where he has to kill as many people that Micah orders him to that he killed in the rebellion, which apparently is a lot because he was like the battalion leader. So all of it fell on him. And I guess the most profound scene for me was, so it's mentioned a bunch of times, but you don't realize the severity of it until it all accumulates in Bryce's apartment. So apparently after he does these murders, he like sits in the bathtub and like burns his skin off over and over as like a punishment for himself. And so like it's mentioned in the book a couple of times, but you're not really focused on it because it's very briefly mentioned until he comes back to Bryce's apartment and does it in her apartment where she sees that he's punishing himself and she goes to wash him. And it's like, I didn't see that part as romantic at all. Like, you have to have people in your life who will see you at your lowest point and like still care enough to take care of you. And to me, that was such like, that was a point where like they could have become like the best of friends. They've obviously lost important people in their life. And I don't really know if Danica I don't really know if they were just friends. Honestly, it's not. There were moments where I was wondering if they were more than friends too. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, I was hoping that we were going to stay there, but we weren't. It was, let me see. Sorry guys, I need to figure out which gold I want to use because the gold on the cover is more of a yellow gold rather than a gold, I guess, if that makes sense. There we go. So I'm going to go in with the regular warrior palette and I'm going into Bakawa, which is this really gorgeous, come on, focus, thank you. This really gorgeous right here. This is the color on the cover, so that's what we're going for. And then on the ends, I'm probably going to blend in a little bit of this one, which is Dahomey. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a flat brush. So we're going to go in this kind of brush, and these pick up a lot of pigment. so I'm just gonna have to take my time. Oh, supporting characters. So her brother, who is actually the sworn prince for the elves, they have a tricky relationship. He is what I guess the light bringer, the person that's supposed to be like the strongest, and da-da-da-da-da. And she just wanted to figure out like who her father was. Well, her father obviously didn't want anything to do with her after her mother had escaped. And her brother was kind of an entitled jerk to her. Also, I don't feel like it's bright enough. So we're going to figure out, let's go in with Morini. So I'm going to put this down and we're going to get another brush that's called Morini. Where are my flat shaders? So I'm going to go in with Morini, which is like a really light gold. So her relationship with her brother is interesting. Like, it turns out that the only reason that she chose not to step into her light was so that her brother wouldn't get outshone. And it was just such a sweet, it's one of those things where it's like, real siblings fight. And I heard some people say like they never fought with their siblings. I fought and still fight with my siblings all the time. And it's just one of those things. It just happens. I don't really think too much on it. They don't really think too much on it. I gotta figure out something. I'm not digging this. So what I'm gonna do is we're going in with the Nomad palette. I'm going in with this matte yellow. And I'm gonna put it right where the gold meets the black. And I just want to see what it does. Because we're winging this look, so. I just need a blend. It's not blending enough for me. Maybe if I completely take away the black. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm going to take the red from the Warrior 2 palette. We're just going to meet that with the yellow and see what it looks like. Not giving me anything. So I'm going to go in with this orange, which is called Zama. And we're going to go... I think that's what I needed. We might have needed to add some orange to this. Ooh, also, we're just gonna skip. So we're gonna talk about the ending of this book. So the ending of this book was like a climactic cinema explosion. I mean, I really have no other way to explain it. It went off. Problem is, again, it took me like 700 pages to get there, and it did not need to be 700 pages. That book was entirely too long, and I don't appreciate it. I'm trying to save more of what I'm going to talk about with Oshale, but I did want to get this look out because me and Oshale are going to eventually do a live where we talk about this particular book and go more in depth. And then her as a Sarah J. Maas fan, it'll be fun to just kind of piggyback off each other. So it turns out that Danica was a drug addict. Not a drug addict like Bryce was. Like, Bryce wasn't a drug addict. She was a druggie for like, she partied with drugs, right? Danica was a true blue, hardcore drug addict who was strong. Like, it was basically like magical steroids, essentially. And she was a part of this testing program at this facility where basically they were testing out this new drug that the side effects were the patient became extremely strong but ended up turning on everybody and like killing everybody. And then when they were done killing everybody, they turned on themselves and killed themselves. That's what happened to Danica. Because Micah injected her with the drug so she would kill everybody. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I don't know, I guess she did really good at leaving me completely clueless as far as like who actually was the culprit, it was one of those things where I was like, yo, like, oh snap, okay, we went there, cool. Oh, I forgot the yellow. Oops, yellow. So I give the ending like kudos. I also would like, I guess I know that there's going to be more Sarah J. Maas books about this series. The way that the book ended lets me know that. And it left a lot of things open. And like, I'm very curious as to what's going to happen. But I did find the part where, you know, Hunt was free. I was like, that was cute or whatever. But like Bryce, I don't know. I felt like her just going back to her regular everyday life was just too simple and too easy. Like, I know this is the first book. I know there's going to be more. I don't know how many more they're going to be. And is it still going to be focused on Bryce? Like, are they taking her out of the story? What does she have to do with that demon dude? It's just so many questions. Would I read another one of the book series? I'm honestly not really sure. And the reason is because it was really long, y'all. Like I heard Priority of the Orange Tree, which is a book I haven't finished yet. It also falls into that trap of just being like super long-winded for no reason. So I don't know. I don't know how long she's gonna make this other book, and I don't know if I'm gonna be one to participate. But I'm gonna be quiet now because I need to concentrate. I think I'm going to put my lashes on last. So let me think. What else do I want to talk about in this particular book? I'm also going to go in with a little bit. My skin's been doing a color flip on us. So I'm going to go in with my Juvia's Place. I think Toga might be my one that's too dark. Oops. Is this my dark one? This is my dark one. Crap. So I'm going to go in with my 420 from Fenty, which is a little too light. And we're going to just mix the two and hope for the best. Yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of blending out on this one. That's fine. But okay, so like, I don't know how to explain it, but I loved the fact that the power that Bryce got at the end was a power of love, but it wasn't like the power of love from a man. It was like that genuine, true blue, bestie friendship power that does not get the love that it deserves. Because like friendship love does not get any spotlight when it comes to most stories. And for that, I was like, okay, did it actually turn into like Hunt trying to give his life for her? Technically, yes. But the power that she had to do the jump and everything was from her friend. And I do like that spotlight. Like, the main focus of this thing was like, yeah, Bryce needs to move on. And like, she needs to be a person and have a life and all of that. And I'm not saying that she doesn't. I'm just saying we need to lighten this up a little bit. It's a little too dark still. Oh, that's the wrong one. I didn't bring any hand wipes up here. I'll do better on the next one, guys. That was the wrong foundation. Okay. I just, like I said, I enjoyed like how important her friendship was with her friend. That I thoroughly enjoyed. I was like, thank God. We're going to talk about real friendship. Real friendship should get you like that. Because I have friends that, like, I just cannot imagine my life without them. And I feel like Bryce's reaction to losing her friend would be my reaction to losing my friends. or family. Like, not even focused on, like, romantic love. Just, yeah. So I'm going to do the rest of my face, and we'll come back and chat in a second.
I've learned time shows what's hidden in the spaces. Minds change when lines are crossed and trust is taken. I'm not bending anymore. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Wasn't given any worth. You expected I was to keep it. You're gonna see me in a different kind of light. I'm gonna be the one that's stuck inside your mind. Stuck inside your mind. Stuck inside your mind. I'm gonna be the one that's stuck inside your mind. I was the fabric in your hands I'm feeling. You pulled the thread that held my fragile pieces. I'm not bending anymore. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Wasn't given any worth. You expected I was to keep it. You're gonna see me in a different kind of light. I'm gonna be the one that's stuck inside your mind. Stuck inside your mind. Stuck inside your mind. I'm gonna be the one that's stuck inside your mind. Inside the one slide up, blazing the flames fly.
Alright guys, this is the final look. I think holding up the book next to it, I'm like, the lipstick might be a little too red, but honestly, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I was gonna ombre it out from the black to the red, but I can't find my black or my deep brown lipstick to save my life, so we just stuck to the Cherry Blossom from the Colored Rain. So what are my thoughts about the rest of this book? I didn't think the book was terrible, only because the ending wrapped up what I wanted to know so nicely. I'm aware that we're probably going to get another book. I just pray that it's not 800 pages, because at least 400 pages of this book could have been cut out. There was so much unnecessary fluff in this book, where when you finally got to a scene, the scene happened, and then you'd have to wait like 3 chapters to move on to the next part. And it's just like, I don't think the book was terrible. Like, I know a lot of people like really hated it, or I don't know if it's because they just hate Sarah J Maas or what, but I don't have an issue with Sarah J Maas, so I can genuinely say, like, I loved the initial idea of the trying to figure out who done it. I did not necessarily care for Bryce and Hunt becoming an actual item. I would have liked them to heal from their trauma together in a different way that didn't involve lust, because it wasn't love. They were in lust. It's very hard for me to believe in this book that there was actual love, because both of them have been hurting for so long. But again, that's also me probably projecting onto characters in a book that don't even exist in real life. So I'm always open to opinions. I'm always open to what you guys think about the book. Leave them down below. Also, again, keep in mind, we're going to be talking about this book in depth later on, but I did want to get this look out for you guys. So this one is it. I'm actually like digging it. Like, oh, and somebody's going to ask, the lashes that I'm wearing are, I think they're the 518s from Ardell, but they're in my travel case, and I've had them in there for so long that I don't remember. Because I think this is my first time wearing them, so I don't remember which numbers they are. But if I do If the number is different, I will leave it down below in the description box. So again, thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. I'm sorry for the fan noise. I know you can hear the fan noise, but it's hot up in here. I don't have a fan installed in the office yet, but we're going to get that handled. So until the next time, guys, bye.